Welcome to Contractor Cuts, where we cover the good, the bad, and the ugly of growing a successful contracting company.
I'm Clark Turner. I'm the founder of ProServe Alliance and also a general contractor.
And I'm Jared Flo. I'm the Director of Operations at ProServe Alliance. Welcome back to Contractor Cuts.
So this is episode 2. Episode 1 was more of an intro about us. This episode today is Hiring 101. It's kind of covering everything when you're getting started thinking about hiring, right? It's time to make a hire. You feel it in your gut bubbling up. It's about time. I would love to do it. I need to do it.
I want to make some more money. Got to hire somebody.
Yes. And so this is kind of starting our five different episode series. These correspond with videos. There's a Hiring 101 video that's a deeper dive into this. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about the video. Give me highlights on what the video is.
So in a nutshell, basically what the video is going through are 3 common mistakes when it comes to hiring. First one is hiring the wrong person. How do you find that right person to fit the need for your business? Second one is, once you hire that person, how do you train them? How do you get them to the place where they can deliver that level of customer service that makes you kind of that secret sauce that makes your clients come back for more, right? And the third one is being financially ready to be able to hire. So basically you have to have a level of money set aside to be able to float that person until they're ready, till they've gone through the training and kind of how to do that and what that looks like. So that's what the videos look like.
Okay, so that's the deep dive of kind of starting off at the very beginning. Those are the 3 things that the mistakes you got to avoid when you're getting started.
Yep.
You know, I think one of the big things that we're going to talk about in future podcast episodes even is how most contractors decide it's time to hire, which for that, oftentimes it's hiring out of need and want, not hiring out of preparedness and the right person.
That's right.
So
or hiring out of desperation.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm underwater. I got people coming at me from all angles.
Yep.
They're great customers, and I just can't cover all the ground.
My cousin's looking for a job. It'd be great if he can just pick up some of these clients. We're just going to run with it.
Yep.
Hey, do this. Watch me. Watch how we're doing this. Let's go. I don't have the money to hire him, but if we can say yes to these 4 jobs, then we'll have the money for this.
And my cousin painted a wall once.
He's done it before. Why can't he do it again?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think in this podcast, let's dive a little deeper into my first hires.
Yep.
You are my official first hire. It was 7-8 years in that you came on. There was actually a hire before you, and it was only 2 to 3 years in. It was done wrong, and I don't even blame the hire on this one. We've had some hires that I would probably put the majority of the blame on them being the wrong person.
You were still learning, creating your process. You didn't even really know what you wanted at that point.
So a compare and contrast of that first hire. I think using the ProServe situation and my situation on hiring, comparing and contrasting those 2 hires, I think will really help us get started on thinking through the hiring process. Yep. So my very first hire, was someone that came on. We're gonna call him Frank. I think in all of our episodes we should stick with one name.
Frank. Yeah.
If it's someone who should not be named, we'll stick with the word Frank.
That's right.
Is that
That's
good?
right. Yeah,
right.
I'm good with that.
So, what was the first thing we're covering in the videos?
The first thing we're covering in the videos is hiring the right person. How do you know you're hiring the right person?
Okay, so the difference of my very first hire and hiring Jared, and we're going to fluff your feathers a lot today, Jared.
Hey.
Okay with that. So one of the biggest things, though, I think in hiring the right person is not just someone with skills. My very first hire, Frank and Jared, both had about the same skill level, which was you could probably figure out how to paint a wall.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. A little jack of all trades. Kind of had experience with a little bit of experience on a lot of different things.
Okay, so that was you, and that was also Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so that didn't matter to me. When I was bringing in my very first hire, it was not about you were killing it in the renovation field and I need you on my team. It was about you being the right person. So what is the right person for you? And every single person is going to be different, right?
Sure.
There could be 4 different people that could be your next hire that are the right with 4 different personalities. But
It also depends on where your business is at that point. If it's your very first hire or 3 or 4, 5 hires.
That's right. And I think in 2 to 3 more episodes, we're going to dive deep into that, right? The when to hire which personality, which type of person. But for you, being the right person coming into this company was you had some entrepreneurial side of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a potential to earn some ownership that you liked,
right.
But I also guaranteed you salary to where you had a wife at the time.
Take a little risk.
You took some risk, not a lot of risk, right? Right? Again, and I think if I recall when we sat down over that burger to talk through it, it was a couple of different options I put on the table for you, right? One was higher risk, little lower payout sooner.
Right.
Other one was a lower risk with a higher payout,
higher immediate
base.
money, right?
And so that, again, not going too deep into it, but you had a little entrepreneurial in you. You had some get up and go. And you wanted to run it. You wanted to go earn it yourself. And I would say I set it up that way in the beginning of putting that carrot out there. Hey, this is what I want from you, and I'm going to challenge you to do it. Right? I'm going to push and give you the reins on some of these things.
Yeah.
I think Frank, when I hired him, I was the boss. I was in charge. It was my company. I'm running jobs. I've been doing this for 3 or 4 years now. I know how to do this. You come on. You are my assistant. You were going to start my training, right? I'm number 2, bad training. My training was sit with me, watch me how I'm doing it.
Follow me around.
Follow me around and do as I do. And he wasn't to a spot where he felt confident to just do what I did because I always knew how to do it better because I've been doing it, right? And so,
to be honest, that was the training that you and I went through.
Yeah,
I rode around in the truck with you, and we had that little Rubbermaid file cabinet that sat in between us and each one of the jobs, and writing all the information in there, and learned from it that way. But there was a different mindset for me because I was looking at how do I grow this thing. I want to own some of the growth of this and take it from where it is to something different.
Yeah. I think one of the big differences too is you wanted to start making your own decisions and were trying your hardest to push me out.
Yeah, get out of here.
You wanted to fly, right?
Yeah, I should have taken that
launch.
51% option.
See, that you should have
had out there.
But you pushing towards that, keeping me in check. And I think we had a written job description for you when you came in, and it was, here's what you're allowed to own, and here's what you're allowed to check me on, right? That was one of the big things, was this is what you can own yourself. I'm here to assist you on these things, but I'm your assistant on these. You're not my assistant.
Right. Well, and honestly, I feel like at that point for you, you had the vision, and stop me if I'm wrong, but I think early on when you hired Frank, it was different. You had the vision at the point when I came on that you wanted me to own this part so that you could step into the growth and development, going out and getting clients, landing new business, some of that side of it where you were trying to get me to, you realized you couldn't be running around to all these different jobs and doing that growth and development and customer satisfaction and all that stuff simultaneously. So I think that was a big difference too, of some of that vision.
And bringing Frank on, it was trying to quote unquote duplicate myself, but it really was spreading myself more thin. It was, we're doing 9 jobs right now. If I bring Frank on, I can now do 15. And I'm still running 15 jobs.
Yeah, because you felt the need to micromanage the additional 6 jobs.
Yeah. And so I was on every job still. And so I now had another job, which was not only my projects I was running, but also now managing another project named Frank that I had to manage that, right? And so there wasn't the failure to launch was not just him or anything. It was me not giving him, this is how you launch, this is where you launch, this is what you do, this is what you can own, this is how you pass or fail, right? I had written rules for you of, if you were going to be successful, you got to have these things done well. Right. And so allowing you to have that and ownership in that also allowed you to push back when I was stepping on it.
Well, and what that did for me is that gave me expectations that were understood.
Yeah.
Right. Like this is what I expect you to be doing. I expect you to be doing these things, and that allowed me to be able to gauge myself whether I was doing well or not. Right? If the level of expectation is set to this, if I'm hitting that or exceeding that, then I can go home knowing I'm doing my job well.
Yep.
But if I didn't have those things every day, I'd be like, am I doing good? And I'd always be coming back to you for validation versus knowing this is what the expectation is.
Another successful thing when we're, mistake number 3 being not being financially ready. I think one of the biggest mistakes on my Frank hire versus you is I was like, if we build it, they will come. If I just hire him, then I'm going to all of a sudden be able to bring on more clients. And I probably had a couple clients at the time that I landed, but I didn't have a game plan for the financial side.
Right.
It takes time to grow and to bring on more clients. With you, I had just landed a very large client that was doing probably $30,000-$40,000 of almost guaranteed revenue a month for the company. It was more of the fix and flip, quick in and out jobs, and so I knew even if we wane on clients or take a step back during the winter, I had this other customer coming in that I knew I'd profit 3 months in a row before you came on.
Right.
I also didn't spend that profit for 3 months in a row before you came on. I put that away to fund you.
Right.
So the first month you came on, it wasn't like, Jared, I need you to go out and make us money. It was chill. Let's go through some training. Let me show you how we like this. Let me show you all of the processes I've got set up on all of our pieces of paper. And here's this spreadsheet and there's that spreadsheet.
Right. And you also introduced me to crews.
Yeah.
That eventually one or two of I would end up running myself. Right.
You challenge you to bring on your own and learn some of our crews at the same time. So I think that was a big difference to be able to have the money there to take the time where there's not a pressure for you to launch. There's that runway of I can burn money. I can have Jared on as an employee for 2 months and him make $0 for the company, and we're still going to be okay. And I'm okay with that if I'm betting on the right person. I think that's one of the bigger things of the right person we cover in a couple episodes is every single hire is a bet. Right. Every single one. All we're trying to do is reduce the risk and make the bet more in our favor. Right? We've hired some of what we thought were the absolute best options, and it turns out they didn't work. They went somewhere else. They just couldn't take on our systems. They weren't what we thought they were.
They weren't what they said they were.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's going to happen. We still have had hires that haven't worked out. But I think it's been a while since that happened. I think it's been over a year since we had a hire that came on and had to go.
Right.
So it's one of those things of you're always gambling. We're trying to reduce the risk of the gamble. For me, bringing you on, I knew you were married. I knew that you had someone that you were helping. She had a job as well, but there was some stability. You weren't going to up and go live with your uncle out in California, right? There's stability of being here long term, as well as with you. It was not just there was some skin in the game, right? It wasn't just for a paycheck, which the previous guy was, and it was okay. Listen, if you want more than just this paycheck, we have to earn it together. Right. And so there was more skin in the game in those decision makings. And there was you got to a place where you were like, Clark, get out of my kitchen. Right. I'm owning this. I'm the cook on this thing. Get out of my kitchen.
I think I've said get out of my kitchen, Clark, quite a bit.
A lot.
Over the years.
And for my personality, I'm going to be in your kitchen until I taste that meal and it tastes delicious.
Right.
And then I'm going to let you own your kitchen. Right. And so as a control freak in recovery, where I've that's one of the biggest things with making a hire is you want to control everything. You want to be in the middle of everything. I want to make sure everything's because I originally didn't have processes in place.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say that.
Yeah, I couldn't check you with those processes and say, okay, he's measuring these ingredients in the kitchen. He's boiling the water the right way. He's using this, and this. If I know all those things are happening, I can get out of your way. I can get out of your kitchen because I know that you're following our processes. And then we'd have meetings where I review it. I say, hey, why are you doing it this way? How's it going this way, right?
Well, I think you spent a lot of time early on before I got there, and even before Frank, cutting your teeth, learning and developing the brand and reputation of the company, and how ProServe delights the customers, and that was the thing, the tagline that we say is the secret sauce, right? But it was the secret sauce that made you you. And what it's inevitable when you hire somebody that you're going to feel the need to micromanage that person, because you don't understand. They may have different the way that they look at things, decisions that they make, how to run crews, how they talk to clients and all that. So you feel the need to kind of be in their kitchen like that, right? But once you and we developed a good processes and procedures that if you follow those processes and procedures, it delivered that customer service, delivered that secret sauce. It allowed to step back and say, okay, cool, they're good. They're running the process, which is going to deliver the reputation and the brand that was created.
Yeah, I think that's right on. I think one of the biggest mindset shifts that I had between you and Frank also was with Frank, and back then when I was first getting started with the company, my goal was to deliver a good product, right? I cared about having a really good paint job and having the best kitchen and having, the bathroom that we're remodeling, the tile had to be perfect, and I'd meet with the tile guys, and so I brought Frank in to do that, to make sure that happened. I never once trained him on customer service. Right. I never once trained him on we don't care about the product. The product has to be good. For us to have any success, you got to have a good product. That's a given in construction. And if you don't have a good product, that's
you're not going to be in business.
No. But once you have that there and you have that attention to detail and what makes people call you, the way to grow the company that I missed on the first one, but I saw in you, is the customer service side. Is how does this person delight my clients? How does this person, we're going to deliver a paint job that's really good, period, no matter what. How does this person make it a fun, enjoyable experience for the client who's getting that paint job, right? And I think that was one of the biggest things that, to be honest, I don't want to say I was really good. To be 100% honest, that wasn't on my brain, but that's who you are. Right. Luckily, that was falling backwards into that. It was, when I was hiring back then, it was about who can run jobs, who can deliver on that, who knew enough crews. All right, Jared, you're kind of entrepreneurial. You're good enough to step into this job. And the ability to like clients that you brought with you, I didn't recognize at the time, but I think was one of the reasons that you're still sitting here a lot of years later, is because I learned that from you in terms of that, the importance of that delivery of the experience. The
story for the client, right? I think that's what we call it, the story from first contact. How do they experience us? How does our office girl, what does she sound like? How does she treat them? All the way through the communication and being in front of issues and problems that might come up, and through the invoicing questions, problems, final walks. That storyline of making sure that I'm putting myself in the client's shoes. How are they experiencing this? This is the biggest spend they've ever had in their life, at least one of them. It's scary for them. So creating that storyline of customer service and that experience was so huge, because it helped overcome the inevitable problems that happen on jobs occasionally. So, a bucket of paint gets spilled, or the wrong color gets painted, or those type of things happen on jobs. But if you've created a storyline, you've built that trust with them, those things are easy to overcome. But if it's just that I've always found that to be vitally important in this business.
And I think that was kind of, at the last 5 to 6 years of building ProServe and building ProServe Alliance's processes and procedures, is the biggest part of it is how we do that well strategically, but also in a very structured way.
That's
right. So our client engagement, where we sit down with clients before we start, we make them sign an agreement and walk them through the steps, all the way through how we answer phones, who answers the phone at the office. Not everyone can answer the phone here, because that is them knocking at our front door and the first person answering the door. We've thought through every single detail. Now, we had to have all of the base stuff done first, right? Understanding how job flow works, understanding how we do our estimates and desk estimates and revisions, then on-sites, then pre-con and all that stuff we have as our base. And I think the secondary, after we get past the 101, the 201 classes that we do with a lot of ProServe Alliance contractors, is all that icing on the cake for the customer service experience.
That's
right?
right.
So I think that was
Icing means nothing if your cake is rock hard.
Exactly. So again, I think those are some of the things when we're talking about hiring, we're looking for in a hire. We got future episodes coming up. Like I said, all 5 of our videos are now on our website, proservealliance.com. Go ahead.
All about hiring.
All hiring, from who to hire, how to hire, when to hire. Hiring 101, there's vertical and horizontal. That's what we're going to cover next week or next podcast is how to structure your company for growth, right? How are you structuring yourself to step out one day as opposed to building a company on top of you?
And specifically, building a company vertically versus horizontally. And what does that mean? And how does that set you up for success?
Yep. So we'll cover that next week. I appreciate it. It's been fun chatting with you. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for fluffing me up a little bit.
Yeah, I hope you feel good.
I needed it. It's the
last you'll hear from me of nice things towards you. So, all right. I appreciate it. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.